This game could be massive, but if you've never heard of BattleBit, or you're asking yourself, what is it? Then look no further. BattleBit doesn't look like much on the surface, that is for sure. But once I started looking a little bit closer, what I found really surprised me. And now I truly believe it could be developed into a serious contender for many people's time. So, what is BattleBit? First, let me take you directly to their store page, as it describes it pretty well there for the most part. BattleBit Remastered is a low poly FPS that aims for a massively multiplayer experience, with up to 250 players on a single server. But it is a whole lot more than that. What this game is a mishmash of all the fantastic casual features from the likes of COD and Battlefield, mixed with the more realistic mechanics from Squad and Insurgency Sandstorm. And somehow, they pull it off in this blocky world. The game focuses on a squad and class-based system where teaming up in a good group is key to success. Similar to Battlefield, you have a choice of several classes, all of which with unique gadgets and perks. Want an RPG? You need to be an engineer for that. Want more bandages and the ability to heal? The medic class is for you. But before we jump into any of the finer details of the game and how it plays, there are a few things you need to take into consideration first. BattleBit is in pre-early access at the moment, so everything you're about to see can change, and probably, hopefully, for the better, which only makes what I'm about to tell you even more impressive. The game is being developed by 3 people that go by Mr. Okidoki, the lead developer and designer, Velasquez, the level designer and 3D artist, and the Liquid Horse, who is the weapon, vehicle and armor 3D artist. This is simply insane when you look at what they've achieved already and the scope they have for this game. The developers have already come out and said the game will not be free to play and has no plans for microtransactions, which depending on how you look at it, could be a great direction to take this game in, and a massive win for the small community that it has already developed. They will continue funding and supporting the game post-release with DLC and supporters packs instead, and are heavily focused on implementing community servers and mod support in the future to keep the game fresh and alive. Very positive tones coming directly from the developers there. But ultimately, the question you will now be asking yourself is, well, why should you care? This is totally fair to ask, and we'll get into the gameplay reasons in just a moment. But putting that aside for now, one simple reason is to support small dev teams like this one. More importantly, small dev teams that have a passion and promise to make something genuine and full of quality. This game, made by 3 people, has more features in it than many AAA titles these days. More care and more thought put into it as well. And for that alone, we should at least see what these guys have to offer and support them along the way. Alright, enough talk. What makes this game good and worth checking out then? Well, BattleBit has said it itself. It's going for a massively multiplayer experience with huge battles across large maps that consist of a whopping 254 players on a single server, and it outright nails it in that regard. More players doesn't always translate to more fun, and it can actually cause a lot of issues with latency, hit registration, and game balance. I mean, just take Battlefield 2042 for example, going from 64 players to 128, that was difficult enough for an entire studio like DICE to deal with, let alone smashing that up to a massive 254. And then throwing map design that can actually correctly flow and accommodate that many people at once is challenging in itself. And whilst it's still a little too early to truly say they've nailed it in this particular aspect, they have certainly done a good job from the handful I've played so far. I mean, there's a generous 18 maps already lined up. You traverse these large maps either on foot in a variety of vehicles, and oh boy do they have plenty to choose from. You have your transport vehicles like Humvees and quads with different variations for each faction, and then you have your tanks and light armoured vehicles like your Abrams, T-90s and LAVs. You even have a jet ski, because why would you not want a jet ski in your game? I believe there is aircraft in the game in the form of gadgets and squad call-ins. Yes, this game has a squad point system like Battlefield 5, where your squad leader can call in reinforcements based on how well your squad is performing. This can range from building your own walls to cover and fortify your position, or even a rally point like in Squad, where you can spawn in a specific area. Again, mixing elements from multiple different games there. Speaking of mixing elements of multiple different games, as I said earlier, there is a great mix of casual elements and more tactical gameplay tropes. And what I mean by this is that it has the squad and flag based spawn system like in Battlefield games, allowing you to easily jump to different teams' positions. But it pairs that with the more tactical elements like the ability to lean around corners and manual healing / a bandaging system. This is taken directly from games like Squad. This means getting hit is a big deal. The TTK is short, and when you hit, you begin to bleed. To stop this, you must bandage, and then the only way you can restore health is if you find a medic and receive aid. Similarly to these titles once more, you also have the ability to drag and revive fallen teammates, and this is anyone on your team regardless what class you are. The drawback, however, is that it will cost you one of your precious bandages. There are plenty more examples of how BattleBits have taken inspiration from other franchises, but seriously, we'd be here all day if I tried to list them all, so hopefully you pick up on them as you watch the gameplay in the background. But what is an FPS without its weapons, hey? And I'm pleased to say there is no slacking in this department either. Rifles, carbines, PDWs, LMGs, marksman rifles, sniper rifles, pistols, it has so many it's genuinely surprising. Again, considering it's being made by 3 people, whatever playstyle you fancy, you're covered, I'm sure. They all feel relatively good as well, and meet the standard of their specific criteria. Rifles feel punchy and have recoil, whereas SMGs feel a little bit weaker, but they're more mobile, the usual stuff. It's not without flaws, of course, as DMRs and snipers feel like they rule the field right now, but again, it's nothing major that can't be worked on before release. BattleBits already has a full progression system. Though it's simple, it just works. It doesn't try to overcomplicate things with several different bars for classes, weapons, and overall rank. It sticks to one overall rank for your soldier, with the higher you achieve, the more weapons and gadgets you have to play with. And for the weapons themselves, the number of kills for each individual weapon results in further attachments being unlocked. For example, 20 kills would get you a laser, and a further 40 kills may get you a better optic. All of this is tracked with an easy to understand UI showing you exactly how many kills you have and how many you need for a specific unlock. As I mentioned earlier, there are specific weapons and gadgets tied to each class. Again, no surprise here, it just does the simple things right. Medic gets the ability to heal and has more bandages, Recon to get access to snipers, and gadgets like binoculars. This keeps the classes and ultimately the game as a whole balanced, something that shouldn't be taken for granted and will again likely be tweaked in the future if the community feels like it's needed. When it comes to actually finding a match to play though, how is that? Well, it's just as simple and intuitive as the rest of the UI. They have a quick play feature, so if you just want to get thrown into the action, you can be, but they also have the holy grail, an actual server browser where you can see and filter lobby size, ping, game mode, and maps. The only thing I would add here, if I'm being really picky, is the ability to see how long is left in the game to stop the possibility of joining a match that is about to end. And I haven't even listed the 13 different game modes they have implemented. Here are a few off the top. We have TDM, Conquest, Rush, Domination, Gun Game, Free For All, Infantry Only Conquest, and Frontlines. No Battle Royale though, so sorry BR fans. There are some issues though. With all this being said, the game is not perfect, and nor should you expect it to be. As I mentioned before, because of its wide open nature of some of the maps, snipers and DMRs have a big advantage at times. Match this with the distinct lack of enemy visibility, you can sometimes find yourself frustrated as you get sniped over and over from out of nowhere. This is only made worse by the decision for a shorter TTK. Though I praised the maps earlier, I did run into a few occasions where the flow was interrupted by some of the buildings being destroyed completely. Oh yeah, there's destruction in this game too, I forgot to mention that. This left certain flags completely open and half of our team pinned down and hiding behind a single bit of cover. This can lead to hectic moments that leave you without much of a solution. And then a few minor things like key bindings as well. For example here, the mouse wheel just doesn't work, it has no function at all, and you can't bind it either. Just a little strange really, nothing game breaking of course. So, in conclusion, this game won't blow you away with any of the AAA bells and whistles, but for what it has already, a fun core design, a clear philosophy and goal, with all the basics met or exceeded already, then this is certainly a promising project. Made all the more impressive by the small number of people actually working on it. I don't know a lot about game development, but I can tell you this though, it takes a lot of time, dedication and resources to make anything even worth a glance at today's high standards. So I cannot emphasize enough how much of an achievement this is for this team to get to even this level. BattleBits is a unique yet familiar take on the FPS genre and a title worth keeping a good eye on. I recommend giving it a go whilst the free trials are going on and seeing the potential for this game firsthand. It has a real opportunity to be a fun mix of old and new and easily accessible. And that alone should be enough to give it a chance. And that's it. That's my outlook on BattleBits. In the end, I have no idea how this game will turn out, but I'm optimistic. Let me know what you think. And whilst you're still here, drop a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. But that's it from me today. Until next time guys, cheers.